Hi there. Okay, hopefully you lived through all of these purl stitches, 8 rows. Purling is, here's my little secret, I don't love it. It's not my favorite, but it's necessary sometimes. So when we want to, add some pretty texture to things. So anyway, we're going to start closing the head now, decreasing. You will need, well, this is actually where you pull in your stuffing. And I would get a darning needle out, try and get something that's kind of sharp. Okay. So what I usually do at this point is I actually start adding some stuffing into the part, mostly his face at this point. I don't want too much in there or else it'll mess up my stitches as we go along. It gets in the way. So, and this stuff is, there we go. It likes to grow. Okay, well, not that much, and you'll see, really pack it down there, for at the moment anyway, and you want it about like that. His head is, I try really hard not to overstuff it because I feel like it bulges it out in places it doesn't need to be. Kind of counteracts some of the stitch work that we've done. So try not to over or under stuff. It's kind of a little bit just trial and error. First round, decrease round, is purl 2, purl together 3 times. So purl 2, purl 2 together. Okay, purl 2, oops, purl 2 together. Purl 2, purl 2 together. Now we're just going to purl 1. We're going to kind of start that repeat all over again. So purl 2, purl 2 together. That stitch is, yikes, not wanting to come through there. Okay, just like with, there we go. Just like with increase rounds, after a decrease round, you usually do a round of just purling or knitting. We're going to do that on this one. So I'm going to purl 2, just like any other. Okay. Now, I don't think you need to watch me do this whole thing, but as you close it down, especially when you get towards probably like the last 2 rows, really keep checking your stuffing. You don't want it to have any wrinkles or anything like that. You want it to be firm but not like bulging, if that makes sense. I'm going to come back here and help you close this down right at the end. Okay. So I'm on the last, right before the last decrease round. So this is pretty much it for the stuffing. I'm going to finish stuffing him up here. And I'm probably going to check it one more time before I pull it tight, take the needles out. Just a little bit more. Now, okay. The last round, you're going to have 15 stitches just prior to that, and what you're going to do is you're going to purl 2 together 7 times, and then there's purl 1 at the end. You're going to cut the yarn at that point and put it on a darning needle, and you're going to thread them all through. So here's the tricky bit. Okay. All two together. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Got a lot of tension here because of all the stuffing. 4. It's always that last one. 5. 6, 7, and 8. That gives you 8 stitches all together. Okay, so I'm going to cut the yarn at this point. About that much on. I'm going to put it on a darning needle. I got a set of darning needles a couple years ago that have these tiny little heads on them, but I like them because they're good for embroidery into this type of thing. So, all right, so we're going to go around and just pick up all these stitches onto this darning needle. Take that needle off. Pull these through. Okay. All right, now here's where you can really check how your stuffing is. Here is the top of Ulysses' head, or face I should say, and you don't want, especially down here, too much like bulging happening. So just make sure that you've got enough yarn to especially fill in this back part. You don't want any like wrinkling or anything like that happening. You want it to feel pretty full, but you don't want it to be over full, as I said before. So I'm just going to pop a little bit more in here and look at it. Kind of pull these, see what I think. I actually think it needs just a smidge more. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. All right. And so what you're going to have here is this kind of little flower shape in the back. You still have your needle on. I usually kind of just tighten it up a little bit by going through a couple times like this. And no real like pattern to it, just kind of tighten it down a little bit. Now, also, just to get this out of the way, you'll have to do it later anyway, so we'll just do it now. So this thread at the back of the head is obviously not going to stay there, and I feed pretty much all the extra pieces of yarn and thread and embroidery thread and all of that to the very bottom. Okay, here's his nose, here's the top of his face, so that would be his chin, and I bring it right down there because that is going to be covered up. That it adds, actually, when you put it into all together and kind of make a knot, a big knot with it. Here, I'll show you my Ulysses head. It stabilizes the neck when we get to that part a little bit, so that works pretty great. So we're going to put that just right there, okay? And just leave it, set it aside. Let me show you that on that head real quick. I usually do this after I've done all of the detailing, face, sewn the ears and the horns on. I bring everything down here and I tie it in a good knot, just a real good tight knot. And then that really does, fits right into where his little neck is going to be, and it really adds some good stability there. So we'll just get used to doing that every time we do any part of, any connecting to the head, we're going to be drawing everything down that way. So there you go. Ulysses' head is almost complete.